What evil lurks in the hearts of coronal holes? The Smash Team knows. We'll talk about them. And plenty more. And thanks for tuning in to this Halloween weekend edition of the Daily Space Weather Show. Yes, my face is evaporating. It's full of space. I'm a space face. I'm full of space. Coronal holes shall be the story for days as high-speed solar winds arrive, possibly causing things like geomagnetic storm conditions, causing people to hide deep, deep in their bunkers where their souls cannot escape. By the way, seriously, we have a massive coronal hole here and a even more massive filament. Look at this filament. It stretches around the entire coronal hole, and it's shaped like an Xbox controller. So there's that. So coronal holes shall be the story. Also plasma filaments, several quite massive ones. As we said on yesterday's video, the sun has been withholding plasma. Oh, here's some more frequencies there for you. There we've put in 171 angstroms to show some additional depth on that coronal hole. And once again, please stop referring to me as a gaping gash. Just kidding, you can keep referring to me as that as long as you press the like button. You see, it's crucial that you press the like button. Otherwise, folks, things could happen. And we don't need things to happen, right? I mean, what if I just started to suddenly evaporate? Like, whoa, look out, I'm becoming part of space. Oh my God. You don't want that to happen, right? So, press the like button, or you might become part of space. Yes, do you want to be cast into an ever-deepening and darkening ethereal plane of dismal, dreary, silly, ridiculous content about space weather? No? Well, I don't either. But I've got these great things behind me that are scrolling past forever, until you finally press the like button. Otherwise, the video cannot continue. Or you could take a moment to go view our shorts, if you'd like to wait for all of the punters to press the like button. Or maybe even share. I don't know. There's probably enough time to leave a comment at this point. The beauty of video on demand, folks. The beauty of video on demand. It exposes the evil that lurks in the heart of content creators. Yes. So give Smash staff a raise. Press the like button. Press share. Leave a comment. It's that press all of the things, or you will be found at a place where things shall occur. That is your astrological forecast. The following are paid promotions. Join the Smash Team. Yeah, the Smash Team. You want additional content? That's where to get it. Smashomash.com/Smash Team. Just log in and click posts, and you'll see the posts for your level. Yes, there may be many levels that... There may be levels there that don't even require logging in, that everybody's always logged into. No, seriously, if you click posts, you'll see things there that you may not otherwise see, like today's post about how we almost sent an alert. Today's featured product from the merch shop is Forgive, Remember, and Hold Accountable, because holding a grudge is like ingesting poison and expecting the other person to die. So forgive, remember, and hold accountable, because the universe never forgives nor forgets. So you should, or something. Check out the merch. It's linked below the video in the description. Also, you can find a link to the Hemp Lucid shop. Yes, Hemp Lucid, our other affiliate/sponsor. Soon we'll have a real URL for Hemp Lucid, won't we, Smash staff? Anyway, link below the video to the Hemp Lucid shop where you can save a bundle. Yes, a bundle on things like mushroom gummies, and even more on stress, sleep, and immune stacks. So check those out if you haven't. Again, linked below the video in the description. You can also hit us up over on our Amazon shop. Yeah, you shopping for stuff? Well, we've got some stuff for you to shop for. And if I could please have return... Would you please return control of my own computer? Yes, that would be great. Amazon.com/shop/smashomash. Get your space gear if you haven't. Get 5 pairs of solar glasses, the plastic ones, for $30. Or perhaps get 6 sets of the paper ones for $10. Or what about 1 set of the plastic ones, even nicer plastic ones that are even more durable, for $31.99, which comes with 3 paper sets. Lots of choices there to go out and look directly at the sun at Amazon.com/shop/smashomash. Otherwise, it would be bad advice to go. I mean, you're not looking directly at the sun because you're looking through metallized fabric. And, of course, hopefully you're not growing an aura around you. And hopefully you've pressed the like button and visited our links, increasing the probability that these videos will continue to exist, remain publicly visible, and free for all to view. Yes, I'm becoming full of space once again. And before we get back to space... Actually, this is more space. So there you go. We've had sunspot growth down here especially. This is the new most active region, this southern group. And also a little bit of growth up here in the northeast. A little bit of degradation over here in the northwest. And yeah, anyway, there's the magnetic field. These are depicting October 28th and October 29th to date, which is approximately 2 days. So there you go. Let's take a look at what's going on Earth, and there's at least one quite fantastic volcano. It's known as... It's called something. It's Apakanchich. Anyway, here's an awesome image of it. It's in the Aleutian Islands. It's producing an awesome lava flow and some lava fountaining up at the top. There is a place right there not to erect a campsite. That would not make for a fun campsite, folks. Even if you're downwind. I mean upwind. You know what I mean. Anyway, these are the like sands through the hourglass of magma. These are the volcanoes of your lives. Or since it's Halloween weekend, maybe it's of your deaths. So Kluchevskoy is erupting effusively and explosively. Please don't hang out around Kluchevskoy. You might get hit by a lava bomb. Sakurajima, blowing a 7,000-foot ash plume. Subanosejima, 6,000-foot ash plume. Unknown cloud from Mayan. It must be regularly cloudy over the Philippines. Luitolo producing a 6,000-foot ash plume. 19,000-foot ash plume over central Mexico as Popocatépetl explodes. My bucket list volcano. Fuego exploding mildly, producing sporadic emissions. Rincon de la Vieja also is doing a thing. Phreatic explosions happening there as rock fractures apart, reacting with water and exploding. Nevado de Ruiz exploding, flight level 200. It's a 20,000-foot ash plume. Report of volcanic ash from Sangay, 17,000-foot ash plume from Revenador, and a 22,000-foot ash plume from Sabancaya as it explodes in Peru. Next, earthquakes. There's the past 90 days. We're becoming a little bit overdue for a 7-magnitude quake. Here's about how often they happen. There's the year to date, if that helps. So they are fairly well spaced out over time frames, folks. Largest quake of the past 24 here was north of New Zealand there, south of Vanuatu, near New Caledonia. That 6.0 magnitude quake was in the ocean. And it was at some depth, nearly 80 kilometers. Anyway, these are the quakes of the past 24 hours. That one occurred at about 4 o'clock this morning, Universal Time. And just before 1 o'clock Universal Time, Indonesia had a 5.1. There's that 6.0 at 4:32 this morning on October 29th. So far, only 2 quakes of a 5 or greater magnitude make it 3 in between New Zealand and Tonga in the Kermadec Trench region, a 5.0. Then a 5.1 at the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. That was at 13:57 Universal Time this afternoon, and those are the 5 and greater magnitude quakes. And here is more space. There's 304 angstroms for the past 24 hours, and I would note this area down here. It has rapidly turned into a sunspot and rapidly produced some filament activity. So, some filaments jumping around there. And what's that? You want a closer view? There you go. So that's pretty sweet. Here we've zoomed back out to 171 angstroms. Gotta have the house favorite wavelength. And what else do we have here? Well, before we get back to coronal holes, and you'll be hearing a lot about coronal holes in the coming 2 years, not just the coming 2 days. They show us the solar polar field reversal process, so they're super important. But before we talk more coronal holes, let's talk more stats. The 10.7 centimeter radio flux, now at 135 solar flux units. So there it is, popping back up. 135. It's actually up here. If I press refresh, it's not updated yet, but it's 135 is the current 10.7 centimeter radio flux, right about there in reality. And we have 2 nights in a row that we could see geomagnetic storms and geomagnetic unrest conditions. So tonight into Monday morning, also Monday night into Tuesday morning, we could see geomagnetic storm conditions. Fingers crossed for that. And here are the past 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space, our Geospace Magnetosphere movie of the day. And right now, the solar wind is pretty weak because it's very diffuse. So it's at a very high speed also. But it's also very diffuse. So not a lot of force behind it because it's so thin. Here are the past 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. So remember, folks, F equals ma does apply here. Force equals mass times acceleration. That's the past 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. There's the planetary K index, an average of global geomagnetism, a little bit elevated here. And if we are going to see an uptick, by the way, in solar wind density. So if you noticed yesterday, I forecasted an uptick in the solar wind speed, which is exactly what occurred. That's because it was clearly a coronal hole, but there's another coronal hole high-speed stream on the way, and it's going to be a lot more exciting because it's going to be first noticed by another big increase in the solar wind density, and then some kind of an increase in the solar wind speed. Might be big, might be small, might have the proper magnetic fields to create geomagnetic storms, or maybe not, but you just don't really know until it starts showing up at Lagrangian point 1. Anyway, here are the current conditions on the ACE. Again, solar wind extremely diffuse. Please update and function. Let's press refresh. Be great if it would actually show me what the values are. But it's like 1 proton per cubic centimeter, as you can see right there. We're right on the line for the ACE. Solar wind speed looks like it's about 560 kilometers per second. Let's check the Discover. See how diffuse the Discover solar wind density is there. 0.3 of a proton per cubic centimeter. About 1/3 of a proton per cubic centimeter there at the Discover. Solar wind velocity 556, as in 556 kilometers per second. So a little on the fast side, also very diffuse. We're expecting in the coming day or two a big uptick in the solar wind density, followed by a downtick in the density, and then an uptick in the solar wind speed. In other words, another coronal hole is just about here. So here's the GOES magnetometer, and you can expect to see more spiky readings like this. Maybe even a lot more spiky readings than that, as Earth will have a different plasma environment when that coronal hole high-speed stream shows up. Anyway, here's our top view ecliptic plane field plot, and Earth has still not crossed the sector boundary. So Earth is still in a North Pole orientation. Sector boundary crossing could only be a few hours or minutes away. So, play that again here. Is the North Pole current sheet stretching back out again? Nope. It's moving steadily right along, so. We do have South Pole coronal holes appearing also. We'll get to those in a minute. First, our line of sight field plot. Again, there is a mini terminator event happening over there on the eastern limb, as there is indecisive magnetic field orientation, both in the corona and in the photosphere. So it's a mini terminator event, folks. The fields are currently nearly canceling each other out. So, and like I said earlier, the sun has been withholding plasma. So I don't know what your opinion on that is. It's just a fact. However, it won't keep withholding plasma. Eventually, some will arrive at Earth. So here's our line of sight coronal hole plot, and bringing up the latest image. So we've got South Pole coronal holes in the east and North Pole coronal holes in the west. So these are south, these are north. Sector boundary crossing is right here. You can basically see it. It's right on the east side of that filament. And while we're talking filaments, there's a quick view of the filaments, and geez, I mean, that is freaking berserk. That massive coronal hole rotating toward the western limb is just about completely encircled by filaments. Also, massive filament over here. You can see that huge structure. Just berserk. And let's get to sunspots. Sunspots. Right around 60 at the moment. 60 sunspots, according to ROB. And here's our flare probability monitor and scoreboard. So 3474 is the latest sunspot. I think there's one more new one up here in the northeast as well. So we'll take a look at that next. Here's the past 24 in SDO 171 plus continuum. Let's subtract the 171. And no, maybe not. I thought there were more sunspots up there. I guess not. Okay. To quote Stuttering John, everything else pretty stable besides that. Let's move on to magnetic fields. So here's part of what I'm talking about. You can see these magnetic fields are quite mixed. They're not homogeneous at all. You've got North Pole magnetism here and south right here, and then you've got south right here and north right here and south, north, south, north, south, north. So those are sort of a series of canceling fields right now. And also you can see the corona a little indecisive. So the photosphere and the corona are kind of phase canceling each other right now. And so that could lead to wild swings, because eventually one polar field will win over the other one. So before we continue on, let's move to energetic particles. By the way, we have a much higher likelihood of spikes in the proton flux. So solar energetic particle events are now much more likely because we do have an ongoing coronal hole high-speed stream. So again, this is going to be accentuated by another density spike and another velocity spike in the coming 24 hours. It'll start with a density spike, and that increases the likelihood of the proton flux getting a significant proton event. So for example, if that southern sunspot flares, don't be surprised to see a spike in the proton flux. So we did see some significant flaring here over the past 24. Almost had an M-class event there. A C7.5, not too bad. And a series of little upticks there. Both in the soft and harder X-ray frequencies. It goes 18 short and it goes 18 long. And it goes 16. Anyway, they were coming from this group down here in the south. That's where the action has been. And the place that's most likely to continue. We'll take a look at the fields just before we get to the meteorology segment to classify that sunspot. It did grow quite rapidly over the past, 18 hours maybe? So it was a pretty quick study, I think. 3474 down there in the lower left. And let's stop staring at the sun for a minute and stare at a star chart. If you're interested in what's going on overhead, try skyandtelescope.org. I like it. The sun just setting here in Lehigh Valley. We've got Saturn and the moon. It's just about to rise. So the night after the full moon, it'll be up at about, I don't know, not very long. First Jupiter shows up, and then the moon skimming across the horizon there around around 6:45. So the moon will be rising right as this video premieres. And let us know what you think of our new time slot, by the way. Yeah, the new 7 p.m. time slot. What do you think? We like it. Here's your solar system forecast. This is where things are today. There's where things will be in a week on November 5th, where your soul will be cast into an ever-deepening and darkening abyss of dung beetles, rolling you down the ramp to hell. Was that too much? I've been spooking people with the soul statements. Always have a soul statement ready, folks. Always have a soul statement ready. And let's cover CMEs. Yes. Coronal mass ejections. The bane of people who don't understand physics. Oh, nose, look out. CMEs, oh my God. Those are yesterday's CMEs, by the way. And I'm meh. I'm over it. Here are today's 66 more frames. And as far as these go, I'm meh on these. They're not exciting. They're not earthly directed. We'll show you why. Here's LASCO C2 and C3. Let's get a little closer. By the way, if you're wondering what those planets are, the one in the foreground is Mercury. It is on the opposite side of the sun, but it's still in the foreground compared to the one behind it, which is the boring red planet that mankind will never colonize, known as Mars. Yes. Yes. Trying to be as offensive as we possibly can to as many people as we possibly can. Just kidding, folks. It is possible that these videos are not for you. You might be into nonsense. He did the smash. He did the smash-o-mash. The smash-o-mash. It was a non-pseudoscience smash. He did the mash. He did the smash-o-mash. Wow. Okay, here we are at stereo A is next. And that's the location of this coronagraph. The stereo core 2 coronagraph. Difference imagery on the right. So this is mostly today's CMEs here. There's one coming out of the west. It doesn't look like it is directed toward Earth. There's also one that comes out of the south somehow, and that one's also not likely directed toward Earth. I don't think it is. And if you think I'm wrong, let us know in the comments. So here's this is a 24-hour video. It's got SDO 193 angstroms, the Soho Lasco C3 in blue and C2 in red, all synchronized for your viewing pleasure. And you'll probably notice that there are no plasma motions that are anywhere near the center of the solar disk there. I don't think those are not, those aren't earthly directed CMEs. Here we've gotten in one step closer, and we've dropped the Lasco C3 and added the 304 angstroms to the SDO imagery. 193 plus 304 is splentacular for showing filaments. So yeah, those filaments are not earthly directed CMEs. So anyway, there's a great view of filaments once again before we get to the ground-based hydrogen alpha telescopes. Dag! Those are some good wavelengths. Shows coronal holes, shows active regions, shows the extended corona, shows filaments. I mean, what more do you want? It even shows prominences. We've got a northern and southern crown prominence going on. So, pretty sweet. Anyway, here's Big Bear's hydrogen alpha telescope, and look at this. These have all got names. So it's this is Mark Zuckerberg. This is the Neil Diamond filament. This is the Eric Schmidt filament. This is the Larry Page filament. This is the Sundar Pichai filament. This is the Bill Gates filament. If you want us to keep naming them after tech billionaires, then by all means don't name that filament. But if you do want to name that filament after somebody besides big tech oligarchs, perhaps do that over on Twitter. x.com/smashomash. And I think that one down in the southeast could use a name, as it's got a likelihood of being there for an extended period of time. So get that snip and sketch off of my screen, and just, type in the hashtag, name that filament, and name it after, I don't know, someone who isn't an oligarch, maybe something like that. I don't know. Could be good. Whatever. But I think that one could use a name, as it does have the capability to end civilization, folks. Leave us a comment if you think civilization is and or should be ended today. Let us know. Did a genie come out of a lamp and tell you that he's going to take you for a magic carpet ride, and your first wish is that civilization be destroyed? Let us know in the comments. Hopefully your soul is not being cast into an ever-deepening and darkening abyss of piles and piles of NPCs on social media. Anyway, yes, piles and piles upon piles. Why do I have so many Twitters open? Piles upon piles of NPCs just piling on and probably leaving comments that make absolutely no sense, while trying to convince you that chemtrails are a thing. Anyway, back to Big Bear. Yeah, Big Bear. What's up with that? We got some prominences. That's what I'm showing. Massive filaments. Some noteworthy prominences. Here come bonus features, but first, the last couple of hours from the GOES 16. As a CME pops off while we're making the video, right there on the eastern limb. Looks like a CME. Will it be spectacular? Will it be a dud? I don't know. Watch tomorrow's daily space weather video. I have no idea. It's happening right now, so I don't have any custom videos of it. Next, charging hazards, and we've got some possible communications breakdowns occurring over places like India. Yes, India. Some significant surface charging hazards happening there as low-energy electrons build up on the exteriors of spacecraft, probably not causing any damage, but could be causing some weird errors in transmission. Goes electron flux here. The 18 getting above warning levels, but the 16 not so much. Keep in mind it is noontime for the 18 right now. And the 16, when it was at noontime, which is the blue N over there on the right side, well, it was at warning levels. But they are minor. It's basically right in the middle of a normal operating right there. So that's the electron flux over the past year. Here's the forecast, expecting a little uptick. Maybe if we don't, it might get erroneous depending on if we get a major impact from the next coronal high-speed stream. It might dip down really low, which is an indication that it's erroneous. But NOAA expecting an uptick. I don't know. I don't really have any argument. Sometimes you see an uptick during a coronal high-speed stream. We'll have to just wait. I have no forecast for that. Next, the layer where it's measured, the F layer. What the F? You don't know about the F layer? It's at about 300 kilometers of altitude, give or take. And here is that slice. And we're seeing significant low-frequency anomalies. Significant low-frequency anomalies from the 30-day average, folks. Oh, my God. Look at those low vibrations happening in the ionosphere. It must mean that there are reptilians descending into Earth's atmosphere, and you must enter your bunker now, which we hope is not too deep. Here's the anomaly from the 30-day median, and look at that. Look at all the low-frequency anomalies, folks. It must be low-frequency people who want revenge on your soul. Or maybe it's a bunch of Sasquatches and Yetis passing through portals into our dimension. Maybe that's what's lowering the vibration. Or are they high-vibration creatures? I don't know. Maybe it's demons passing through portals. I'm Zach Baggins, and I was in a place where there was a spooky, spooky ghost sound. We saw a cat. Yeah, a cat on thermal. I was very spooked. However, when I heard scratching, and that was when I realized that it wasn't a human spirit, but rather a demon. That was my Zach Baggins impersonation. Anyway, here's the latest image of the ionosphere, 2215. Ionogram, 2215 anomalygram. DAG! Here's the WAM, the whole atmosphere model, for you GPS and radio users out there. Shout out to my people using stuff that involves space weather. That's what's going on. That's what's going on with your GPSs and your radio usage. Cheers. We'll show total electron content. We'll show this thing briefly. It looks like a bunch of bunk data to me. That data is bunk. I'm going to let it play through anyway. That looks like a pile of schizite. Schizite. It's a new element recently discovered. It's rocks that are made of fecal matter. Schizite. Here's the total electron content anomaly from the 10-day average over North America, and this looks legit. Some high electron count anomalies continue 2 days in over the North American continent. Maybe that's a reason for you to get into the bunker. Folks, get into the bunker. If you're spooked of electrons, bunker up. Now's your chance, folks. It's an excuse to get in the bunker. Test out your bunker. Eat some MREs for absolutely no reason, except that they're going to spoil in another 20 years or whenever you get the idea. Anyway, here's the latest images. And no major changes here. So I thought there was... Maybe... No. Nope. Pretty much just the same. Oh, I said we'd look at these magnetic fields. Here we go. That is a beta, gamma, delta. That's a beta, gamma, delta class sunspot. That's what you want to see. Just barely. It's just barely delta, folks. All right, I'm getting fatigued. Time to do meteorology. We're starting with sea surface temperatures. Here's the whole planet. Coming at you from nullschool.net and the Smash News Network. Least busted name in news. Sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean. Check out the hot water in the Labrador Current area. Bunch of hot water hanging out there. If you're banking on a year without a summer for Europe next year, you're doing some bad banking. You're bankrupt. There ain't no year without a summer coming. Look at forget it. Forget it. If you're banking on a year without a summer, you're bankrupt. The Gulf Stream is just fine. And, look at all the warm water north of Iceland. Oh, no, the Gulf Stream's going to shut down, folks. Oh, no, the Amok. Oh, it's so spooky. There's the Arctic Ocean, by the way. Let's show the Pacific next. Look at the size of that thing. That's a body of water. You're going to need a bigger boat. There's the Southern Ocean, which is consistently anomalously cold all around. Very cold over here. 5.6 degrees Fahrenheit below the normal temperature for this time of year. Anyway, here's the Atlantic. Ta-da! And there is the Indian Ocean. So that's what's going on for sea surface temperature anomalies. Here come your air masses like sands through the hourglass of time. These are the surface winds of the east side's lives. Check it out, a powerful low here north of the North Island of New Zealand. I see a clockwise rotation as lows rotate in the southern hemisphere. Here is the jet stream scenario, blowing backward over the western Pacific. Jet streams of Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Surface winds of the central world. Surface winds of the west. Check it out, there's a powerful low there, south of Greenland. Strong winds around whatever that is, Ontario or something. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Here are the jet streams of the west. Strong jet stream over the eastern U.S. and a 90-degree bend continues. Which reminds me, are you watching people do weather reports who are massive losers? Are you watching weather forecasts that are like 10 days long and are never right because they're full of crap? Those might be meteorology losers. Just saying. Hopefully you're not getting hopefully you're not getting a huge diet of meteorological losers on the internet. People who look at clouds and say, "Look, that's where the HAARP base is located." Anyway, here's a visible satellite over the western world. As darkness falls upon your souls. And we've focused in here on the Lone Star State. So we centered the map here on the base of the stovepipe, near the Texas-Oklahoma border, as there are some big clouds rolling through. An atmospheric pond is turning into a terrestrial lake in some areas. We'll show you some forecasts. First, the snow depth report. Check it out, y'all. Snow depth, and it's winding down now, folks. It's in the mop-up phase in places like Colorado, where hot air is already melting that snow. But there's the snow depth report. It looks like the heaviest snows were around Montana and Wyoming. About 16 inches sit on the snow on the surface in that portion of Wyoming. So that's the current snow depth situation. There is more snow to fall, but the heavy snow is already done. So just some light snows here to continue for the next Actually, it looks like it's already done. So that's the current situation. There is the snow depth report. So that's the snowpack from these latest events. Here's our weather.gov map. We'll scroll down to show you the key. Weather.gov. Lots of flooding there in Hawaii. Some storms all around Alaska and some hard freeze warnings over a huge swath of the U.S. all the way from Lake Michigan down to El Paso. Hard freeze watches. Next, the GFS 72-hour pressure and precipitation forecast. There you go. Courtesy of Tropical Tidbits. So that's what's going on. Here is the accumulated snow depth change in inches for the next 72 hours. Again, most of that snow is done. It's in the mop-up phase at the moment. Heavy rains are still to fall in northeastern Arkansas, southeastern Missouri, and western Kentucky especially. 72-hour GFS total accumulated precipitation forecast in inches. And since there are so many hard freeze watches and warnings, here is the GFS 72-hour temperature anomaly forecast in degrees Celsius. Remember, folks, it's degrees Celsius. That's a lot of degrees. Texas is going to be 16 degrees C below normal. Almost the entire state about 16 degrees Celsius below normal, as much as 20 degrees Celsius below normal. So extreme cold is definitely on the forecast, and it's already there in the northern portion of the state. Next, lightning, and there was some across Texas and Oklahoma, also Indiana. And real-time lightning map? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, there you go. Only 28 strikes per minute at the moment. It's pretty weak. Let me press refresh just to be sure. Very low number of lightning strikes. So if you like watching the troughs... Okay, there we go. That looks more reasonable. 103 strikes per minute. Ta-da! Lightningmaps.org. And it's time to reel your souls in from that ever-deepening and darkening abyss and show you the radar. Alaska, lots of storms around Alaska. Also, precipitation here from Dallas all the way to Lake Huron. And making its way to Pennsylvania. Here is the visible satellite. Here is the water vapor. Looks like clear skies over Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Here's the recap. Doppler radar. Visible satellite. Ah, the visible satellite. What a relief. And there is the water vapor. Cheers. I'm still spooked. I'm spooked of the weather. I'm spooked of space. I'm spooked of the galaxy, the sun, the planet. I'm spooked of fungi. And I'm just, malaria's in the area, folks. At ease disease, malaria's in the area. So I'm out of here. While I'm gone, may that solar wind be at your back. I'm too spooked of space to remain outside the bunker. So I'm headed back to the bunker. Smash staff, good luck. You might survive. The rest of you, good luck. I'm going back to the bunker again. I'm going to the room.